we all know, you know, that there is a basically pandemic of mommy kink stuff, right? We all know about that, you know. All those young, especially young men, having a mommy kink these days. Yes. So I thought about that a little bit. So, you know, where does it come from? What's the cause of it? And it was actually very, very easy to understand why that is a thing. So, my belief why that thing exists is that all these young men grew up in a household where their mother didn't give them any love. No attention, no hugs, no nice words, nothing like that. And if you then on top have a society that tells them that they are bad because they have penis, and then they encounter more women and girls that don't treat them nicely. It doesn't even need to be horrific things, just, you know, never being treated nicely by a woman. And then you see something in the media, yeah? Literally a mother treating their kid nicely. That then triggers something in the brain that makes you attracted to exactly that. And I think that's the root cause for all the mommy kink that we have. It's just a huge abandonment of young boys by especially the mothers. Because we have to keep in count here that literally society tells women having children is a bad thing, being married is a bad thing, men are bad. So how do they treat their sons? Not well. Now, I personally have encountered exactly that. So I think that's why I came to an understanding of what is going on here so fast. Now, do I go into detail here? I think I should, because it explains these things way more easy to people that have no concept of how this can come to be a thing. So, for example, my second girlfriend, well, we might even not be able to say girlfriend, the second woman that I dated, I was 19, she was 26. She was nice to me. And now, almost over 20 years later, I still remember fondly back to that time. And that was nothing great and special that she did. She was just treating me nicely. There were never any bad words, or there were never any problems. But we also only had about 6 dates. So yeah, it's super short thing. But you see the impact that she had on me, right? Over 20 years later, I still fondly remember that time. And there was nothing special, nothing big, just being nice. Just being nice, you know? No grand things, just being nice. Because being nice is something that boys fundamentally all never have happened to them. Especially these days. Especially in a single mother household. If a boy grows up in a single mother household, you can basically bet on it that there's abuse. But that goes also for girls in single mother households, because single mother households are the ones where basically all the abuse is happening. We know that from statistics. In America, when I remember correctly, the statistics was that 50% of the child abuse is happening in single mother households. just single mother households, not done by the mothers, just by single mothers. So if you keep that in mind, all the mother kink makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense. And personally, if I would be younger right now, I think I would also be completely in the mother kink world that there is online, where, you know, people are talking about that stuff all the time. I think I would be completely in that. Because having a woman treating you nicely, and you in your entire life have never had that happen to you, that's so incredible. That feels so good. Just the fantasy of that feels so good that, yeah, I can totally see why that is a thing these days. Absolutely, 100%. For example, yes, I just said, my mother. I can only remember my mother hugging me once in my entire life, which was on my 35th birthday party. And that is what I'm talking about. Having a mother that never hugged you, never gave you any love, nothing like that. And then you see something like that, you know, a mother that does these things in media or in real life, and you're like, oh my god, that is a thing. It's beautiful. Oh my god, I want that. And I absolutely 100% think that is where that kink comes from. It's just a huge sign of abandonment by the mother, which also can happen, you know, with girls. You know, girls that develop a well, it's very obvious, you know, girls with daddy issues. I mean, that's super obvious, right? But that can also happen with girls and mommy issues. And yeah, that's my hypothesis where all that stuff is coming from. It's just neglected parents. Well, in this case, mothers. And specifically single mothers. You think it's just men wanting to be babies? No. The thing is, we don't want to be babies. We just want to be treated nicely. You know, we don't want to be yelled at all the time, or just being used for our money or our skills, which is also a thing that happened to me. I was always the good son, you know, always doing what I was asked of, and yeah, I was being taken advantage of, on all the time. Took me decades to realize that, but the mom doesn't treat nicely. They treat sons like a baby, which can be too much. Oh yes, absolutely. There's a difference between treating your kids nicely and treating them like babies. You know, the problem what I see these days in parenting is that the parents, at least the mothers, don't want their kids to become adults. Which is a huge problem. A huge problem. For example, 16-year-olds that don't know how to do the laundry, do the dishes, use a vacuum cleaner, use the vacuum, you know, or how to, I don't know, fix a flat tire on a bicycle, or don't know how to use a hammer. And those mommy men want to be treated like babies, not like men. Exactly. And that's a huge problem. A huge problem. And that's actually dangerous. You can't have men, you know, just imagine someone that's a power lifter. that behaves like a kid. You can't have that. That's dangerous. The thing is, as an adult, you have to be responsible for your own actions. And children aren't, because they just can't, because of the brain development. That's why the parents are responsible for the kids. So if you have adults that can't take responsibility and don't want to take responsibility, you have a huge problem in society. And with that, we are at the end of this video. And let me know what you think about, you know, am I right, am I wrong, your thoughts about this in the comments. And if you want to see more like this, subscribe. See you next time. Bye bye.